and welcome to Digital El Dorado. We're so excited to bring you this exciting and intriguing webinar. Uh, and this webinar is sponsored by the great folks at Credexo, and this is in line with our quest to help you go digital to delight your customers. My name is Ejiro Oyitso, and I'm the Digital Transformation Advisor here at Credexo. And with me, I have my dear colleague and brand manager at Credexo, Anjali Rastogi. Today, we're going to be going in depth into some discussions. So, Anjali, can you please tell us what we're going to be talking about today?
Okay, so thank you for having me, Ejiro. And this is yet another very interesting and very intriguing webinar episode that we have brought to you, brought to our audience. And the topic for today's discussion revolves around how retail stores and our usual brick and mortar stores can gear themselves up to brace the phenomenal and overwhelming shift and in consumer expectations, as all of us seeing and all of us are witnessing right now. But before we do that, I have a question for you, Ejiro. What would you consider to be one of the most visible consumer responses brought about by this pandemic? Would you mind answering that?
Julie, that's a very interesting question. So we all know that consumer behavior changes rapidly, and we know the consumer pattern has transformed the way we see it. Retailers and stores find it very difficult to keep up with consumer demands, especially in this pandemic that has changed the trajectory of how we do business. So for me, I think consumer pattern has transformed largely in the way we as consumers expect our orders to be fulfilled. What was good in the past 10 years is definitely changed right now. And it's fair to say that same day convenient delivery, low cost delivery is what is taking precedence in this current pandemic and this current environment that we're in. So for me personally, I'm definitely addicted to one-day deliveries.
Ditto, and I think that holds true for our audience here. The surge in demand for quickest order fulfillment is that is phenomenal. I personally want to be able to order stuff, say my grocery today, and I want to deliver to my door on the very same day. And that's how fast we want it, right? Contactless, seamless, and quick. So, what do you have to say about that?
So I think, Anjali, with this pandemic that we have faced, it has changed the trajectory, like I said, of the way we do business and the order of things. With the social distancing that has come into play and with the lockdown that we experienced, these events have transformed and into full-blown customer expectations. So what that means is basically customers now want seamless, quick delivery. Customers want to be able to sit down at the comfort of their homes and even order groceries and have them delivered to the door. According to the chart that we see right here, we notice that there's a jump. So in August of 2019, 13% of households were utilizing this convenience shopping approach called online grocery. We know Walmart is a major player in the use of online grocery. They've been doing it for years. And Walmart has a feature called Walmart Plus, where they use some kind of third-party delivery to have stuff delivered to your home, groceries delivered to your home, I should say. But now, in 2020, as of June 2020 of this year, there's been a jump of 35%. So from 16 million to 46 million. The pandemic has now made more people, in line with the social distancing practices, stay at home and get groceries delivered to their doors, to their homes. This is a very convenient approach, and that is a 185% jump from what it was in August 2019. So everything now boils down to who can fulfill online orders the quickest. So retailers are in a battle and they're sparring as to who has the supremacy over a fast, seamless delivery in the supply chain landscape. And according to a report by the World Retail Congress, 40% of respondents have now said that they would like more retailers to offer same or next day delivery as a standard for this post-pandemic going forward.
And this is very similar to what we just expressed in our personal opinions. And it is right to say that sales are skyrocketing in the new normal. So this also puts a lot of pressure on our neighborhood retail stores or just the simple brick and mortar stores because everyone is going with the e-commerce way. What do you have to say about that?
That's certainly true, Anjali. And the truth of the matter is that these retailers are in for skyrocketing sales, but they're also being faced with the pressure of rethinking their fulfillment strategies. Um, the pandemic has delivered what I call a change in strategies for organizations as they move forward. Companies are now trying to cope with the mechanisms that have been thrown at them. So it's very, very important that any company that wants to stay in the retail landscape and wants to compete at the highest level, it's very, very important for them and it's adamant for them to adapt and change their strategies in order to stay and grow long term. So this is a time for brick and mortar retailers to step up and basically reclaim their piece of the share in the market space. And right now, this is where micro fulfillment centers enter the conversation.
So right, and I think I have been hearing this buzzword that is micro fulfillment centers a lot lately, especially since lockdowns have been lifted in various parts of the world. So, would you mind telling our audience more about these micro fulfillment centers, or as we like to call it, MFCs?
So, as consumers are more geared towards convenient shopping these days, Anjali, what happens is that there's a strategy that major retailers like Walmart, Amazon, HEB, Maya are now investing billions of dollars into, and it's called micro fulfillment, or what I like to call MFC. Now, micro fulfillment is a strategy that involves the use of highly automated storage facilities to reduce costs and the time of delivery to consumers. So MFCs offer retailers enhanced automated technology that delivers faster service for customers by reducing the distance between an ordered product and a customer, making that last mile delivery cheaper, more efficient, and very quicker. Now, fulfillment centers, what they do is they allow retailers to leverage existing stores in order to increase online order fulfillment efficiency and enable same-day delivery. So the last mile delivery cost is shifted to the consumer, who now drives to the store to pick up their click and collect purchase. The automated technology, the automated picking means that MFCs have the capability to provide online groceries pickup in under an hour's turnaround, in under an hour's turnaround time, while saving on expensive manual labor. So MFCs typically pick 70 to 80% of an order, requiring some manual picking for bulk items and frozen refrigerated items.
So I think just as you mentioned, making last mile delivery cheaper and quicker. So to simply put it for our audience, retailers can roll out storage shelf facilities in locations, and these locations are supposed to be close to their end consumers. And with the use of robotic technology, smart software in these centers, retailers can now reduce labor and deliver an efficient omni-channel experience and transform their operating model. Is it right, Ejiro?
That is absolutely right, Anjali. That's spot on. So basically, according to a study done by the United Nations, urbanization is expected to grow by 54% in the next 20 years. So what this means is that there is a competition in the real estate space as more millennials tend to move towards urban areas than remote locations. And now this also presents an opportunity. So basically, you have to understand that MFCs are smaller stores, unlike your convenient distribution centers. MFCs typically take up to 2,000 to 10,000 square foot of space and storage. So what this means is because of their smaller nature, they're able to take on more urban locations. You don't have to have a huge distribution center in remote locations. MFCs can now be at more convenient locations for consumers, especially millennials that like the convenience of having to drive 5 minutes to their favorite store to pick up their goods, or of course, having a more streamlined, efficient delivery to your doorsteps.
Absolutely, and this goes both way. Even for our grocery shopping, we talked about how we want 1 day delivery, but in our hearts truest desires, all we want to do is we want to be able to place the order right away and get the delivery done right away. Is that right, Ejiro?
That is absolutely right. That you want a situation where you're able to get the delivery to your store, to your doorsteps. I'm sorry. Customers are more targeting, leaning towards more convenient shopping these days. I was fascinated at the same day delivery approach, and if somebody had told me maybe a couple of months ago that more customers will be fine tuned and will be more invested in doing online grocery shopping, I probably would have laughed at that. But here we are today, as of June 2020, with a surge of 185% in online grocery shopping.
Absolutely. And you know what fascinates me the most about the MFCs and what you just told us is that their locations can be very edgy. I think we are talking designated shelf space in a local shop, derelict office blocks, or even accessible basements. And that is very intriguing. And what I also see here is that MFCs are much smaller than retail fulfillment centers, and this means that they can be positioned within urban locations so that a faster service can be ensured as because of the growing population. So, Ajiro, what does all of this mean? Would you like to tell the audience what the usual workflow at MFCs look like? If I ask you to put it together in 4 or 5 points, so what would be your opinion there?
Okay, so yes, speaking about workflows, Anjali, let's start. I have 4 points in terms of the workflow. So let's begin at the very top. So products are typically stored in totes, and they're placed in compact vertical storage structure. Now, totes are usually picked up by the robots that move in the vertical or shuttle system. Now, what happens next is that the fastest moving items are picked from the shelf area to avoid constant replenishment of the shuttle system. And then lastly, the orders are then aggregated and delivered to the front of the store for customer pickup and delivery. It's really, really as seamless as that, Anjali. Now, Anjali, would you like to talk about the drivers that push the demand for these micro fulfillment centers?
Based on what research and current market conditions reflect, Ejiro, I think increasing urbanization is the prime driver here. Uh, with the lack of warehouse space in urban areas, all what we saw was that industrial and logistics real estate vacancy rates were at a historic lows in 2020, and the real estate is available at a premium, and it has become very difficult for retailers, to invest in the space that would be needed to establish a traditional distribution center. And I think that's about it. Increasing urbanization is definitely the prime driver. Would you like to add to it, Ajiro?
Yes, also, the reduction in the labor force as, processes in these brick and mortar stores become more automated. For a store, for major stores like Walmart and Maya, now their staff and the workers on the floor can focus on more tasks, like restocking of items and what have you, because the automation now allows for these items to be moved from one point to another. And to add to what you just said, the added fulfillment burden can also reveal replenishment process inadequacies. And this can result in a variety of stocking issues, such as out of stock items, inability to fulfill online orders, and frustrated shoppers. So to put this in simple terms, the use of traditional in store inventory for online order fulfillment is not a sustainable long term strategy.
Definitely. So, with that, now let's talk about what these MFCs aim to address, what they have to offer for the retail sector as well as for the consumer. So, I think the primary purpose served by MFCs is a simplification of the product path. And to start with, the product is moved from the warehouse and then it makes way to the store's back room, finally heading to the store floor. And to simply put it, the product moves from the MFC to the store's back room, and then it finally hits to the customer's door. As simple as that. And what I actually infer from all of the discussion we had is that it is all about making delivery times as short as possible and the mode of delivery seamless, affordable, and not to mention ease of the last mile delivery. So, Ejiro, I think it's time for us to talk about the other benefits driven by these MFCs for retailers. Would you take a go at it?
Yes, Anjali. So there's an opportunity for retailers to go into what I call the click and collect mode. And this simply means they can now deliver to multiple locations rather than have to do it on a store by store basis. So rather than going to only one store, they have the opportunity to deliver to multiple locations. And this means that there's more, you can track more on your ROI, your return on investment, and operating expense is now more visible, as you can see the last mile delivery structure now put in place. Now they can accommodate spikes as well for delivery slots. So think about it now. We're approaching the holiday season. Customers are trying to take advantage of the in-store sales and the last-minute promotions. Now, micro fulfillment centers and give retailers the opportunity to fill these delivery slots in such a quick time and in a more efficient manner. And this can also drive because it benefits the customers to as they tend to make more impulse purchases when collecting orders.
And I think we should not fail to mention the cost savings, right? Because these micro fulfillment centers are close to end customers, the potential savings in delivery fees are a fraction of the incremental costs that go into operating it. So I think now it's time for us to sum up the entire concept and function of MFCs for the audience before we go.
So the entire concept and function of MFCs is based on the immediate competency of retailers to integrate all of their assets to satisfy those using the omnichannel. When retailers realize that their stores can also be used as micro fulfillment centers, they can gear up for consumers and offer them a 360-degree experience, seamlessly delivering the benefits of omnichannel service.
That's rightly said there, Ejiro. You know, the entire concept and function of MFCs is definitely based on the competency of retailers, how they are able to arise to this entire situation, the way they are able to rethink their fulfillment strategy, you know, obviously driven by the benefits of it and the mere fact that now it is not time for them to just, survive. It is time for them to survive, thrive, and grow. And with this, we come to the end of our this webinar episode on micro fulfillment for retail and how it is going to be an absolute success formula for retail stores, for brick and mortar stores that are looking to reclaim their share, just as Ejiro mentioned. So with this, I would like to thank you, everyone who's watching us right now, and we definitely look forward to meeting you in the next webinar, and that's all. So see you on the next webinar.
See you guys. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Please stay tuned for more series.